Archangel Michael and Zadkiel unlock your abundance. They reveal why your financial breakthrough has been delayed and how to activate it instantly. This isn't just hope, it's a divine strategy for wealth. Your money miracle starts the moment you open this. You didn't imagine this moment. It was divinely timed. You didn't stumble here. You were spiritually led here. Archangel Michael and Zadkiel have seen your heart. They've watched the struggle, the delay, the confusion. You prayed. You waited. You wondered what went wrong. Why did others rise while your promise stayed locked? Why did opportunities vanish just as you reached them? Today, heaven responds. Your wealth was never denied. It was delayed. By dark forces, by doubt, by deception. But now Archangel Michael has shattered the delay. This is not just another hope-filled message for you. This is a prophetic moment that breaks cycles of lack. Zadkiel, the angel of divine mercy and memory, steps in. He reveals the moment your abundance got interrupted. A financial attack wasn't random. It had a purpose. It came to discourage your giving, your faith, your fire. But God said, enough. It's time to release the oil again. You're being handed divine instructions to rise in wealth. But you must receive them with obedience and urgency. Because delay only ends when you decide not to delay. Today begins your money miracle, but it is conditional. This is a prophetic exchange. Action must follow faith. You must walk in the strategy heaven is about to give. You must speak, sow, and see with a new anointed lens. Michael holds the sword. Zadkiel holds the scroll. What they release now is not theory. It's transformation. Prepare. This isn't just about income, it's inheritance. Your wealth is not just for survival, it's for divine service. If you're ready, heaven will now open the next scroll. Let this be the line that starts your abundance journey. Type I am rising to get the blessing 4896. There was a day your financial flow was quietly attacked. You didn't see it happen with your eyes, but you felt it. Something shifted in your life. You prayed, you worked, you waited, but nothing moved. You were once full of hope and excitement. Then suddenly, everything felt blocked. The doors that were once open became sealed. Your income became tight. Your dreams began to dry up. You ask yourself what changed. The answer is not earthly. It's spiritual. Archangel Michael and Zadkiel reveal that a spiritual rope was tied around your financial flow. This was done by someone who envied you. They released words of delay, prayers masked in bitterness, and even dark energy into your space. It wasn't random. It was targeted. Type I am anointed to get blessing 5167. Heaven watched in silence for a time. Zadkiel, the angel who records memory and mercy, saw it all. Michael, the great defender, drew his sword. But heaven could not move until you reached the point of awareness. You had to seek truth before divine help could be fully released. You are at that point now. That's why this message found you. It's no coincidence. It's a divine appointment. The blockage was not about your money. It was about your mission. When your flow is blocked, your mind grows weary. When your mind is weary, your faith becomes weak. The enemy wanted to take your strength by stealing your finances. But now, Archangel Michael has received permission to break the rope. Zadkiel is here to show you the exact moment it started. Type I'm rising to get blessing 5229. Some of you had a conversation with someone who smiled at your dream, but cursed it in private. Others gave in secret, and those gifts were mocked by those closest to you. Some were wounded by their own doubt, and that doubt became a legal doorway for the enemy to enter and choke your resources. But heaven is exposing every moment of sabotage, so you can be free. Michael says this freedom is not automatic. You must participate in the breaking. You must speak, you must act, you must move. This is not about working harder. It's about aligning deeper. Zadkiel reminds you, abundance does not come from toil, it comes from trust. You've tried everything in your power. Now, try everything in God's power. Surrender opens the floodgates. Type I am free to get blessing 5342. You are not cursed. You are chosen. But chosen people must stay under divine covering. If your mind is full of fear, shame, guilt, or unworthiness about money, then that becomes a covering too, and not a holy one. God is not ashamed of blessing you. You shouldn't be ashamed to receive. Money is a devil. It is the love of money, it corrupts. But the purpose of money releases power. You are meant to feed others, bless others, lift others. That's why the enemy wanted to dry up your wells. Not just to punish you, but to block your impact. Today, Archangel Michael breaks every hidden word spoken over your wealth. Every silent agreement with lack is now exposed. Zadkiel reveals what you couldn't see until now, and your spirit is coming into awareness. Type I am walking in truth to get blessing 5488. There is divine oil being poured out over your hands. The hands that labored, the hands that gave, the hands that stayed open, even when nothing came back. Heaven remembers your sacrifice. Heaven remembers the seeds you thought were ignored. Zadkiel says none were lost. They were delayed for a greater release. Michael stands ready now. He will strike once you believe. This message is a key, but the door opens only with your obedience. If you listen and respond with faith, things will move quickly. If you delay, the delay returns. That's how spiritual laws work. Heaven is a realm of order, not emotion. You must act in alignment to receive the abundance you've prayed for. Today is not just a teaching. It is a transaction. Type I am restored to get blessing 5590. You have prayed, fasted, and waited. But now, heaven wants you to receive the strategy behind your abundance. Archangel Zadkiel brings divine memory, and Michael brings divine authority. Together, they reveal that most people miss their breakthrough not because they don't work, but because they don't understand spiritual timing and obedient response. God does not release wealth without purpose. When your spirit is aligned and your ears are open, the heavens open. Many believers expect blessings to simply fall, but heaven works through patterns, order, and obedience. Just like Elijah needed to go to the brook to receive the ravens, and then to the widow to receive provision, you too must follow instruction. God never blesses at random. He blesses through obedience. That's why Michael and Zadkiel are now giving you this message, not to excite your emotions but to guide your movements. Type I am ready to get blessing 5681. There are 4 doors that unlock financial flow in the spirit: gratitude, giving, declaration, and alignment. Gratitude resets your heart to receive. Giving breaks the spirit of greed and opens spiritual vaults. Declaration reframes your identity because you speak from where you believe. And alignment places you where the blessing can find you. If you miss these doors, you may delay your own blessing. Michael says you must now examine your spiritual habits. Do you speak more fear than faith? Do you give and then regret giving? Do you compare yourself to others instead of thanking God for what's on the way? These thoughts create spiritual resistance. It is not enough to want wealth. You must prepare to host it. Heaven cannot give increase to a soul still ruled by fear. Type I'm aligned to get blessing 5796. Zadkiel reminds you of this. God is not mocked. What a person sows, they will reap. But many have sown good seeds and seen no harvest. That is because the enemy snuck in tares, weeds of confusion and delay. Heaven is not unjust. Every seed still speaks. But you must stand in faith until the harvest matures. You must water it with praise, protect it with declaration, and wait with holy expectation. If you abandon your garden too early, weeds will take over. This is why the enemy pushes discouragement during harvest season. He wants you to walk away just before it blooms. But Michael says, hold your position. Heaven is not late. Zadkiel whispers, you are remembered. What you gave in secret will be rewarded in public. But do not grow weary now. This is your divine window. Type I am remembered to get blessing 5860. You may ask, what should I do now? The answer is simple. Receive, believe, and act. Don't let fear slow you. Speak faith. Give where God leads. Obey the instructions you receive, even if they are small. Many great financial shifts begin with small, spiritual actions. A word, a seed, a moment of surrender. Obedience creates acceleration. Michael's sword is now over your household. It waits to cut every remaining rope of resistance. But it responds only to faith in action. If you respond today, things will break. If you hesitate, the atmosphere may shift. Do not wait for the next sign. This is your sign. Zadkiel says heaven has already begun moving on your behalf. But now you must agree with it. Type I'm moving in faith to get blessing 5973. Today, you step into divine strategy. You are not begging for scraps. You are walking into inheritance. The enemy is terrified, not of your money, but of what you will do with it. That's why your battle has been so intense. But heaven says, the struggle ends the moment you step in. You are rising as a kingdom financier, a spiritual leader, a blessed vessel. Your hands will overflow so others may eat. You were never meant to just survive. You were created to supply. Welcome to your assignment. Type I am God's vessel to get blessing 6032. If this message stirred something in you, then hear this. Your support doesn't just bless a channel, it blesses a soul. When you sow into this prophetic word, you are helping release God's light into dark places. This is how rivers of spiritual abundance flow. One act of obedience opens the heavens for someone else. God is whispering to someone right now, your seed will heal others. If you feel that nudge in your spirit, don't ignore it. This is your moment to give like it matters. Because it does. You can support the mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the video description. And as you give, may God multiply it like Elijah's oil, overflowing, unending, divine. To release. Be blessed. That's not a suggestion. That's a command. The enemy does not fear money. He fears the right person having money. When someone pure, obedient, and bold receives wealth, they shift atmospheres. They break generational curses. They feed the hungry, build ministries, fund visions, and lift the oppressed. That's why your finances have been under attack. It's not about greed. It's about impact. Your breakthrough was delayed because your blessing was dangerous to darkness. Archangel Michael reveals that the enemy sent distractions to blind you. Fear, confusion, and even false teachings about money were released to keep you small. You were told money was evil. You were told struggle was holy. But heaven says, poverty is not your portion. Holiness and wealth are not enemies. They are powerful partners when stewarded well. The world needs to see righteous wealth. Type I am chosen for impact to get blessing 6111. Zadkiel wants to remind you of Joseph. He was forgotten, betrayed, and thrown into a pit. But when his time came, he was raised up to manage wealth, not for himself but to feed a nation. You carry a similar anointing. Your pit was not the end. It was the preparation. Your delay was not denial, it was training. God has watched your integrity and lacked. Now he prepares to trust you with more. But Michael warns, if you still see yourself as poor, you'll handle wealth with fear. That fear can mismanage your blessing. That's why this message is part of your transformation. Heaven must renew your mind before it increases your supply. Because without the mindset of stewardship, money will slip through your hands. You're not just called to receive. You're called to multiply. Type I am ready to multiply to get blessing 6224. Zadkiel is now showing you the past moments where money came but didn't stay. There were seasons where you received blessings but they dried up fast. You questioned yourself. You felt shame. But heaven says today it wasn't punishment. It was exposure. God allowed those moments so you'd ask deeper questions, so you'd seek divine strategy, so you'd stop repeating cycles that leak your blessing. Michael adds that many of those leaks were tied to relationships. People around you took without honor. Some demanded without gratitude. Some drained you emotionally while you tried to be generous. But this next level of abundance requires boundaries. You must ask God who belongs at your next table. Not everyone who claps for you is safe for your future. Type I am protected by wisdom to get blessing 6336. Now God is resetting your financial circle. He is realigning your inner circle. He is positioning you around people who understand divine wealth. People who speak increase, not fear. People who pray over your vision, not gossip about it. People who don't just want what you have but want to help it grow. This shift in relationships is a sign that your harvest is near. Zadkiel also brings a fresh memory to your spirit, a time when you sowed a seed with tears. You gave when it hurt. You gave when you had needs of your own. That seed did not die. It entered divine storage. And now it is being summoned by your obedience. Today's message is calling it forth. The harvest on that tearful seed is ready to show. Type I am reaping in joy to get blessing 6477. Michael now stands at your spiritual door. He is asking, will you trust again? Will you believe again? Will you obey again? Because what's next requires courage. Financial miracles are not just about checks. They are about choices. Choosing to break old patterns. Choosing to live like you're already blessed. Choosing to speak life over your finances, even when the balance looks empty. Zadkiel speaks one final reminder for today. God is not limited by the economy. He is not moved by inflation. He is not delayed by governments. Heaven's currency is faith. And when faith is activated, lack must break. Your next level will not come by chance. It will come by change. Change how you see. Change how you speak. Change how you move. And watch heaven respond. Type I am stepping into overflow to get blessing 6593. There are chains that run through families, chains of fear, struggle, lack, and limitation. These are not just habits or choices. They are spiritual patterns that pass down unless someone breaks them. You are not just called to be free. You are called to be the breaker. Heaven chose you to interrupt what ran through your bloodline. Archangel Michael is standing over you now with the sword of freedom. Zadkiel brings the scroll of memory. He shows the generations before you who lived with financial fear, who wanted more, but were too bound to ask, who gave up on dreams because survival took over. But heaven says, it ends with you. You are the chosen one in your family line. You are the one heaven is investing in. That's why your battle has been so heavy, because your victory changes everything. Type I am the breaker to get blessing 6680. Michael says your obedience now becomes the seed for freedom later. When you obey divine instruction, even when it's uncomfortable, you plant deliverance into your family tree. Every time you choose to give, speak faith, or walk away from fear, you are pulling up the root of poverty from the soil of your name. You are not just doing this for you. You are doing it for your children and their children. Zadkiel wants you to remember, your bloodline is being washed. Every curse that attached itself to your finances is being exposed. But it cannot break without action. Breakthrough is not just about prayer. It's about agreement. You must say yes to this moment. You must partner with what God is doing in the Spirit. Heaven is not asking for perfection, only obedience. Type I am in agreement to get blessing 6794. Look at your past with new eyes. All the times you lacked, cried, begged, and felt forgotten, none of it was wasted. Those moments taught you to pray deeper. They taught you to discern. They showed you who was real. They built a spiritual toughness inside you. That strength is now your mantle. You carry the oil of resilience. You carry the fire of revival. That's why the enemy couldn't take you out. Michael says the devil tried to make you silent, tried to shame you for your needs, tried to make you feel guilty about desiring wealth. But now you must reject every lie. God is not punishing you. He is positioning you. You have been preparing a greater stage for a greater testimony. The same people who saw your lack will witness your overflow. The same doors that closed will now open. Type I am being positioned to get blessing 6888. Zadkiel now points to a heavenly vault. Inside are the blessings that were paused, not canceled. They waited until your spirit matured, until your faith grew up, until your identity was strong enough to carry the weight. You are now stepping into that season. The vault is responding to your spirit. The doors are unlocking with every act of obedience, with every word of faith, with every step you take forward. Michael is guarding the transfer. Nothing will steal what is about to be released to you. But you must watch your environment. Watch your thoughts. Watch your tongue. Complaining closes the vault. Praise keeps it open. Doubt delays the blessing. Belief accelerates it. You cannot afford to go backward now. The gate is open. The instruction is clear. The moment is now. Type I am stepping forward to get blessing 6999. This is no longer about small dreams. You are being invited into a financial awakening, not just to survive this season, but to shape the next one. Your life is becoming a prophecy fulfilled. You are becoming the answer to someone's prayer. Your obedience will pay off in waves. God is about to reward what no one else saw. Get ready for the shift. You've passed the test. The release is here. Type I am walking in release to get blessing 7084. God doesn't release wealth to everyone. He releases it to those who will handle it with holy purpose. That's why your name is on this scroll. That's why Archangel Michael and Zadkiel were sent to you today. You are not just someone praying for money. You are someone called to steward heaven's resources. And that comes with honor and responsibility. Zadkiel says heaven has seen how you handle small things. You stayed faithful even when it was tight. You still gave. You still believed. You still helped others when your own needs weren't met. And heaven took note. Those moments were not ignored. They were tests. And you passed. That's why this moment is now unfolding. Type I am faithful with little to get blessing 7151. Michael reminds you of a truth. When God is ready to elevate you, He gives you a seed first, not a harvest. That seed could be a word, a person, a test, or a small instruction. If you honor it, more comes. If you ignore it, the door closes. Many miss the abundance because they reject the small beginning. But not you. You've been patient. And now your seed is becoming a gate. You didn't need a platform to be faithful. You didn't need an audience to be obedient. You kept sowing even when no one clapped. You kept praising even when nothing looked different. That's why heaven is proud of you. That's why Michael fights for you. That's why Zadkiel brings this scroll now. Because you've proven you're ready for more. Type I am trusted by heaven to get blessing 7284. And now, God wants to increase your capacity. This is more than just receiving. This is about being prepared to hold overflow. You must make space. Clear out the fear. Empty out the doubt. Wipe away the voices that said, "You'll never rise." Archangel Michael is clearing spiritual clutter around your life. He's creating room for divine deposits. Zadkiel speaks. Get your house in order. It means your thoughts, your words, your time, your focus. Because the flow coming is not just for today, it's for your future. God will not pour into broken systems, but He will flood prepared vessels. The more ready you are, the more quickly He'll move. And He's ready to move now. Type I am prepared for more to get blessing 7399. Some of you feel disqualified. You've made financial mistakes in the past. You've trusted the wrong people. You've been careless with resources. And now shame whispers that you're not worthy of wealth. But heaven rebukes that voice. You are not the mistake you made. You are the decision you make now. You are still chosen. You are still loved. And this is still your season. Michael says the only way to lose this moment is to reject it. If you believe the lie, you empower it. But if you believe this truth, you activate it. God's mercy is greater than your past. Zadkiel, the angel of memory, reminds heaven not of your failures, but of your faith. That's what's being rewarded now. Not perfection, but persistence. Type I am not disqualified to get blessing 7488. You are being raised as a kingdom financier. Someone who funds ministries. Someone who blesses the broken. Someone who gives because God gave. You won't fear the next bill. You'll write checks for nations. You won't panic when prices rise. You'll sponsor schools, shelters, and spiritual movements. This is what the enemy feared. This is what God planned. This is who you are. And now Zadkiel unrolls the next scroll. Written in gold is one phrase. It's time. Not next month. Not next year. Not when you feel more ready. Now, the flow begins the moment you step. Michael is positioned at the gate. Your obedience is the key. Speak. Move. Trust. Because once you enter, you will never go back to spiritual dryness again. Type I am stepping through to get blessing 7542. Every blessing in heaven moves by exchange. God never takes without giving more in return. And He never asks without reason. Every time you obey, give, speak, or trust, something shifts in the spirit. Archangel Michael calls it heaven's law of divine exchange. This means when you release your little, God releases His overflow. When you surrender fear, God responds with favor. Zadkiel says too many people wait for more before they give anything. But spiritual flow begins when you move first. Remember the widow with only a jar of oil. She didn't wait for more jars to appear. She followed the prophet's voice, and heaven multiplied what she already had. That's your moment now. What you have is enough to unlock what you've prayed for. Type I am releasing to receive to get blessing 7637. Michael sees that you've been holding on to what's left, hoping it stretches, fearing it won't. But God says, if you release it in faith, I will stretch it supernaturally. This is not about foolish spending. This is about prophetic giving, prophetic trust in, prophetic obedience. God doesn't respond to begging. He responds to belief. And belief always looks like action. Zadkiel reminds you that when Abraham gave his son, he didn't lose him. He unlocked the promise of nations. When the boy gave his fish and bread, he did go hungry. He became the spark for a miracle. What you hold today may seem small, but in heaven's hands, it becomes overflow. Don't protect your little. Plant it. What you release becomes your reward. Type I am planting by faith to get blessing 7712. This is how spiritual laws work. When you give heaven something to work with, God sends angels to multiply it. If you give nothing, nothing grows. That's not punishment. That's principle. Michael stands ready to war for your abundance. But he moves when your faith moves. He strikes when your seed drops. He opens when your obedience activates the key. Zadkiel speaks now. The enemy has lied to you. He told you giving drains you. He told you it makes you weak. But heaven says giving is your weapon. It breaks selfishness and chokes fear. It opens supernatural rivers. Your generosity is a sword in the spirit. It tells the enemy, I trust God more than lack, and that trust causes the angels to move. Type I am a joyful giver to get blessing 7834. Many of you were raised in survival mode. You learned to cling, save, protect, and hide. But now God is teaching you to flow. This is not about giving blindly. It's about giving when God speaks, when your heart responds to His call, when your spirit hears His whisper and says, yes, Lord, I trust you more than my budget. That is where miracles begin. Michael reminds you, God has never failed you. He brought you this far, and He's not leaving you now. The reason this message came to you is because you're trusted. You are being invited into partnership with heaven. God wants to fund you so you can fund others. But the flow starts with faith. Not just in word, but in deed. Not just with praise, but with planting. Type I am flowing in faith to get blessing 7947. You are not empty. You are full of divine potential. You are carrying seeds that can unlock nations, free households, and build legacies. Don't bury them in fear. Plant them in faith. Zadkiel says your harvest is closer than you think, and Michael stands at the gate with the keys. All of heaven is waiting for your next step. Will you move? This is the moment you rise. Not because you earned it, but because you believe. God rewards faith. And right now, your faith is opening doors. You are stepping into overflow. You are stepping into supernatural release. You are stepping into the future God wrote with your name on it. Don't delay. Heaven already moved. Now it's your turn. Type I am stepping into my harvest to get blessing 8022. Delay does not mean denial. Heaven sometimes pauses the blessing, not to hurt you, but to protect you. Archangel Michael says God knows what you cannot see. What looked like a blocked door was actually a hidden rescue. A job that didn't call back. That opportunity that fell through. It was not your loss. It was heaven's shield. Delay is often a divine strategy in disguise. Zadkiel reveals that while you waited, heaven was working. Your character was being refined. Your spiritual roots were growing deeper. You were learning to depend on God, not people, not money, not applause. You were learning how to pray, how to discern, how to stand in silence. Heaven used that waiting season to prepare the weight of your next blessing. Type I am covered by delay to get blessing 8088. Michael says every moment you felt ignored, you were actually being watched closely. Angels surrounded you while you were breaking on the inside, and your tears became divine incense. Your disappointment didn't make you weaker, it made you sharper. It helped you let go of people and places that couldn't go with you to the next level. The pain birthed the purpose. Zadkiel now shows you a scroll from your past. Moments where you prayed and heaven said, not yet. Not because you were forgotten, but because you were loved. Had the blessing come too early, it would have crushed you. Had the opportunity opened too soon, it would have drained you. Delay was heaven's way of saying, I love you too much to let you settle. Type I am maturing in patience to get blessing 8174. Sometimes the enemy attacks through time. He makes you think you're behind. He whispers you're too late. You missed it. You'll never catch up. But Michael says, heaven is not controlled by clocks. God restores time. He redeems what was lost. You are not late. You are right on time. What others built in 10 years, you will build in 2 because of divine acceleration. Zadkiel reminds you of Joel 2:25. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. That's not just a verse, it's a prophecy for you. Every year you felt stuck, heaven has stored double. Every delay will be paid back with divine speed. But your part is to believe again. Don't get bitter. Get ready. Don't lose hope. Heaven is about to move quickly. Type I am accelerating to get blessing 8240. This is a season of sudden turns. What was closed yesterday will open in a moment. What seemed lost will return with increase. A person who ignored you will call back. The opportunity that disappeared will come through a new door. But it won't be random. It will be God. Michael says stay alert. Zadkiel says stay grateful. Because gratefulness makes space for the sudden. Some of you were delayed because of disobedience, but heaven says it's not too late. Even if you walked away from a past instruction, God can still redeem the time. His mercy writes moments. If you say yes now, the blessing can still find you. Don't let shame keep you stuck. Don't let regret block your view. God still plans to bless you. Type I am redeeming time to get blessing 8377. Michael and Zadkiel stand near you today. They carry keys, scrolls, and maps. Keys to unlock what was puzzled. Scrolls that hold your name and promise. Maps that show new directions you haven't considered yet. This is your divine reset. The delay ends when your perspective shifts. What you saw as punishment, God calls preparation. What you feared was failure, God calls foundation. Heaven is not ignoring you. Heaven is preparing a stage so the glory can't be missed. When God moves in your life, it won't be silent, it'll be seen. Your next breakthrough will be public. It will shock those who wrote you off. It will heal wounds you forgot you had. And it will remind your soul, delay was never denial. It was divine positioning. Type I am positioned for glory to get blessing 8451. There are moments in heaven where your name is spoken aloud. Today, Archangel Michael declares, your name hath been mentioned in the hall of transfer. Zadkiel stands beside him holding a scroll. On it is your name, and beside it, a release order. This means the financial breakthrough you've been waiting for has already been approved in the Spirit. The delay you felt was not in heaven, it was in earth. The war wasn't about permission, it was about manifestation. Your blessing is not being decided, it has been decided. Now, the only thing heaven waits for is your agreement. You don't need to beg God. You need to believe Him. And when you believe, you activate what has already been written. Type I agree with heaven to get blessing 8570. Michael speaks boldly. The transfer is sealed. But your words must match what God said. That means stop calling yourself broke. Stop declaring struggle. Stop entertaining fear. Begin speaking like one who is chosen. Zadkiel says your vocabulary must now match your victory. If God says you're blessed, don't say you're behind. If God says it's time, don't delay it with your doubts. What flows through your mouth flows through your life. That's why the enemy attacks your tongue first. He wants you to curse your own harvest. But today, Michael has come to cut off every word curse you spoke in pain. And Zadkiel is ready to write your new declaration in heaven's books. I am in divine flow. Type I speak abundance to get blessing 8644. The transfer is not random. It is tied to your purpose. God is not just giving you money. He's releasing a mission. You will be trusted with resources because He can trust you with souls. This is not just for bills. It's for building, not just for comfort. It's for kingdom impact. That's why the blessing was delayed until your heart could hold the weight of it. Zadkiel reminds you of those secret moments when you said, God, if you bless me, I'll bless others. Heaven recorded that promise. Now, it's time to fulfill it. Michael is opening the door, not for you to be greedy, but for you to become a vessel, a divine distributor, a kingdom builder, a testimony that wealth can be holy. Type I am a vessel for God's wealth to get blessing 8771. But with this blessing comes one command: protect the flow. Not everyone can know what you carry. Not everyone can walk with you in this next season. Michael says, do not invite old battles into your new breakthrough. The people who doubted you will try to return. The ones who spoke against you may come with smiles. Be wise. Zadkiel says, pray before you partner. This new blessing needs fresh boundaries. Protect your peace. Guard your giving. Align your heart with God's instructions. And always ask this before spending, speaking, or sowing. Is this aligned with my divine assignment? That question will save you from cycles and keep your hands blessed. Type I will protect my flow to get blessing 8849. This is your confirmation. The shift has started. The spiritual transaction is active. The angels are already moving. The scroll is unrolled. The window is open. Your name is written in the release. Your obedience is the key. Your praise is the oil. Your trust is the currency. Your words are the gate. Say what heaven says and watch what heaven does. Type I receive the transfer to get blessing 8924. Heaven is moving, and so should we. If this message stirred something deep in your spirit, don't just listen. Join the mission. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you're not funding a channel, you're fueling a divine assignment. Every time you sow into a message like this, you're helping someone else receive their word, their healing, their transfer. Remember what God said, the generous soul shall be made rich. Not my count. Giving here is not a donation. It's a spiritual exchange. This is your moment to activate your giving. Obey boldly. Move now. Be the miracle for someone else. Heaven doesn't release blessings without protection. Every financial blessing has angels assigned to it. Archangel Michael is the commander of these angels. He watches over the release. He guards your increase. He fights off spirits of greed, theft, and destruction. When God says bless them, Michael says, I will protect it. Your wealth is not just coming, it's being watched. Zadkiel brings a vision from heaven. He shows angels standing beside vaults with your name on them. These angels are not just watchers, they are deliverers. They carry heavenly supply to earth. They are ready to move when you speak in alignment. That's why the enemy tries to silence your faith. Because when you speak God's word, angels are activated. Type angels are working for me to get blessing 9012. Michael says the moment you praise, angels rise. The moment you sow, angels are sent. The moment you declare truth, the atmosphere shifts. You are not powerless. You are backed by the armies of heaven. There are more fighting for you than against you. And your words are not just prayers, they are instructions in the spirit realm. Zadkiel says many people lose blessings because they stop speaking. They stop praising. They get tired, discouraged, and distracted. And the angels stand waiting, ready to move, but hearing nothing. Today God says, speak again. Declare again. Believe again. Because your angels have not left. You just stopped sending them. Type I will speak again to get blessing 9143. There is a battle happening right now. The enemy is trying to distract you with fear, with news, with lack, with pressure. But the real war is about your words. Because your next financial breakthrough doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your mouth. What you say now is shaping what shows up next. Michael says, speak life or delay life. Zadkiel opens a scroll filled with heaven's promises for you. Promises of wealth, of security, of overflow. But they are written as conditional. That means they must be received by faith and spoken by agreement. If you say, I can't make it, the scroll stays sealed. If you say, I am rising, the seal breaks, and the angels are dispatched. Type I agree with heaven's promise to get blessing 9237. Right now, you are being trained in angelic communication. This is not fantasy. It's spiritual truth. The Bible says angels hearken to the voice of His word. That means when you speak God's truth, angels hear it as heaven's voice. They don't respond to whining. They respond to the word. Speak like one who knows you're heard. Michael is waiting. His sword is ready. Zadkiel is writing. The scroll is open. Your mouth is the next move. Will you keep repeating the problem? Or will you speak the promise? God says, declare your abundance now. Don't wait for it to show. Speak as if it's already here. Because spiritually, it already is. Type I command abundance to get blessing 9380. The wealth is real. The angels are near. The vault is ready. But your mouth must match your mantle. You are not a beggar. You are an heir. You are not invisible. You are chosen. The enemy cannot cancel what God has written. But you must rise up and say it with boldness. Let heaven hear you. Let the angels move. Let the scroll be fulfilled. Type I call forth my scroll to get blessing 9471. God is restoring what was blocked. But now heaven is warning you. Guard the flow. Archangel Michael has removed the ropes, destroyed the chains, and opened the gates. But if you're not careful, what was broken can return. The enemy always tries to come back. That's why your next steps are just as important as your last breakthrough. Zadkiel says that protection comes through awareness. You must be aware of what triggers lack, who brings anxiety, what conversations weaken your faith, what choices create delay. If you return to the same habits that brought you poverty, you'll delay the harvest. God loves you too much to bless a life that keeps leaking. Type I will guard the blessing to get blessing 9537. Michael now surrounds your spiritual home. He says, your atmosphere must match your assignment. If God is bringing you wealth, you must stop entertaining voices of fear, sarcasm, and poverty thinking. You cannot keep letting people mock your faith, question your tithing, or pull you out of praise. The enemy will use familiar voices to break new blessings. Zadkiel shows you the scroll again. On it is your name and the word assigned. You are not in this season by accident. You were assigned to rise. You were assigned to overflow. You were assigned to be a sign. That means you are responsible now, not just for receiving, but for maintaining the blessing God is releasing. Type I take full responsibility to get blessing 9640. This is where many fall. They get the breakthrough but lose the discipline. They receive increase but forget the instruction. They enjoy the blessing but ignore the boundaries. But you are not like them. God trusts you. Heaven believes in you. That's why this message is reaching you now. So you stay on track. So you stay on guard. So you rise without falling back. Michael says, guard your eyes. What you look at feeds your soul. Don't feed lack by watching fear. Don't invite anxiety by comparing your life. Don't follow people who curse what God is doing in you. Your eye gate is sacred. Zadkiel says, guard your ears. What you hear settles in your spirit. Protect your portals. Type I will protect my gates to get blessing 9714. Now Zadkiel reveals the next step, honor. When God gives you increase, honor Him. Don't make wealth your God. Don't let money become your master. Don't let success make you forget who gave it. The purpose of wealth is worship. To serve, to give, to bless, to break chains, to build for others what was once denied to you. Michael says the fastest way to shut the blessing is through pride. The moment you stop thanking, you start blocking. Stay humble. Stay low. Stay grateful. The more thankful you are, the more open heaven remains. Gratitude is the oil that keeps the financial engine moving. Without it, you create friction. With it, you create flow. I will stay grateful to get blessing 9853. This is the most important part of your journey now. Continuation. You have prayed, believed, received, and rejoiced. And now you must walk carefully. The angels are still with you. The vault is still flowing. The scroll is still being written. Your life is a testimony in progress. Don't break the pen now. Keep living like the blessing is permanent, because it can be. Type I will continue in blessing to get blessing 9944. You are no longer waiting. You are walking. You are no longer begging. You are building. Heaven has shifted your identity. You are not simply someone who receives, you are someone who carries. Archangel Michael says you have moved from request to responsibility. You are a living example of supernatural wealth. Your life now speaks louder than your words. Zadkiel shows heaven's record of your transformation. He points to the moments where you praised while in pain, gave while in lack, and trusted when things looked empty. Those moments shake your mantle. You didn't just ask for blessings, you grew into them. You are no longer just being helped. You are becoming the helper. Type I am walking in maturity to get blessing 10,033. Michael stands beside the doors of influence. These are not just financial gates. These are gates to new rooms, rooms of decision, rooms of counsel, rooms of opportunity. People will begin to see your light. They won't understand why you're rising. They won't know what changed. But heaven knows. You grew. You obeyed. You believed. Zadkiel speaks. It's time for divine visibility. God is making you seen, not for fame but for function. You will inspire. You will guide. You will give with ease. What used to make you cry will now be a doorway for others to escape. Your pain will become their prophecy. Your testimony will become their timeline. Type I am ready to be seen to get blessing 10,119. Heaven says, there is favor resting on your name now. You will notice that what used to be hard becomes easier. Doors will open that no man can close. God will put your name in the mouths of those who can bless you. But remember, this is not the time to relax. It is the time to move with wisdom. Success is not a reward. It is an assignment. Michael reminds you, protect the pace. Don't rush, and don't stall. Walk with grace. Keep your ears tuned to the Spirit. Your next steps are not just for income but for impact. Zadkiel says heaven is watching to see how you use this favor. Will you build with it? Will you bless others? Will you continue to honor God with it? Type I will walk with wisdom to get blessing 10,204. Some people will envy this new season. They won't know what you endured. They won't understand the process. Do not explain your favor. Demonstrate your fruit. Let your actions speak. Let your giving preach. Let your humility teach. Michael says your silence will carry more weight than your words ever could. Let God speak through your overflow. Zadkiel is now writing your new title in the scrolls. It says, Distributor of Divine Resources. You are becoming someone who doesn't just pray for help, you provide it. This is holy. This is honored. This is not about wealth. It is about worth. Heaven calls you worthy, not because you were perfect, but because you were persistent. Type I am worthy of the wait to get blessing 10,316. The angels are watching. The vault is flowing. The scroll is still open. But now, something has changed. You are no longer a receiver waiting at the gate. You are a gatekeeper. You hold keys now. You walk in light. You speak with boldness. You give with joy. And every time you move in obedience, another scroll is added to your record. This is your season of release. This is your time of fulfillment. God didn't forget. God didn't delay. God developed you. Now step boldly, shine fully, and give freely. Because what is on your life now is holy. Type I am walking in holy release to get blessing 10,407. You have been blessed, but not just for yourself. You carry something now that is meant to break chains off others. Archangel Michael says this blessing is not just financial, it's generational. It carries authority. It carries healing. It carries light. Wherever you go, things will shift. Not because of who you are, but because of what's resting on you now. Zadkiel says your name has become a trumpet in the spirit. Heaven is using you as a sign. You are the one in your family who said, "It stops with me." Lack, the struggle, the shame, it stops here. You are now the one who also declares, "It begins with me." The flow, the favor, the divine wealth, it starts here. Type "It begins with me" to get blessing 10,518. Michael says there is a new sound around your name. It is not the sound of begging. It is not the sound of complaining. It is the sound of breakthrough. It is the sound of change. When you walk into a room, you don't bring lack, you bring solution. When you pray, you don't cry for help, you call down answers. Zadkiel reminds you that you are now in a place to shift others. Your presence carries power. Your giving carries weight. Your words carry restoration. You are not small. You are not random. You are marked by heaven. And when you act in obedience, you make it easier for someone else to believe again. Type I carry breakthrough to get blessing 10,604. This is why your warfare was so heavy. The enemy didn't just want to stop your finances. He wanted to silence your future. Because your future includes people. Your rise includes others. Your overflow will save households, ministries, and lives. Your assignment is not just to receive, but to release. Michael says your hands are now instruments of heaven. What you got, you will give. What you speak will grow. What you give will multiply. You are no longer under the curse of not enough. You are walking under the blessing of more than enough. The same hands that once lacked are now blessed to overflow. Type my hands are blessed to get blessing 10,733. Zadkiel shows you a chain in the spirit. It wraps around a friend's life, around a relative, around someone you love. But as you walk in obedience, giving, praying, speaking, sowing, the chain begins to break. Not because you touched it, but because heaven is moving through you now. You are walking in a higher anointing. You are now part of a divine ripple. One act of obedience will create waves. One seed will unlock healing. One bold declaration will start a fire. Your story is no longer one of survival. It is one of release. You didn't just get through the storm. You now command the clouds to clear for others. Type I command release to get blessing 10,806. Michael and Zadkiel now bow before the throne. They place your name once more before the altar. They say they did not give up. And God smiles. Because you endured. Because you obeyed. Because you passed the test. And now, your reward will be greater than you imagined. Not because you earned it, but because you trusted for it. You are now a carrier of change. A builder of hope. A releaser of wealth. Don't slow down. Don't turn back. Don't doubt. Keep walking. Keep speaking. Keep giving. Because this flow is only the beginning. What comes next will be even greater. Type I carry heaven's overflow to get blessing 10,901. You've reached the final part of this divine message. But this is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning of a new chapter. Archangel Michael stands at your side. Zadkiel holds the final scroll. They both say one word from heaven: ready. You are ready for more. Ready for flow. Ready for function. Ready to walk in the purpose God placed inside you. This wasn't just a teaching about money. It was a revealing of who you really are. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're chosen. You're trusted. You're aligned. Every struggle trained your spirit. Every delay shaped your destiny. Every test built your testimony. And now you carry the oil that others need. Zadkiel shows the records. You heard this word and didn't scroll away. You listened. You received. You stayed. And heaven responds to that kind of faith. This is what separates you from the crowd. You didn't treat this like a video. You treated it like a divine visitation. And that's why the blessing will remain on you. Michael now declares, let the gates remain open. That means what you have received will not vanish. You won't be stolen. It won't be blocked again. The vault has been reset. The scroll has been signed. You are under a new decree now. A decree of wealth, of wisdom, of glory, and of guidance. Now comes the next part, the walk. You must live what you received. You must protect what was planted. You must water it with prayer, cover it with praise, and guard it with wisdom. The enemy will try to test it, but he cannot take it. Because this blessing didn't come from man. It came from heaven. This is the moment where you say, God, I'm all in. No more hesitation. No more delay. No more fear. You will not let the oil stop flowing. You will not waste what God poured. You will go forward with boldness. You will walk in purpose. And everything you touch will carry favor. You are no longer waiting for the flow. You are the flow. You are the one heaven trusted. You are the one your family needed. You are the testimony that proves miracles are still happening. And you are now responsible for multiplying what God gave you. To go. Walk in it. Move in it. Believe in it. And declare with power. Type I am the overflow to get blessing 11,010. If this message spoke to your soul, then your response now is part of heaven's plan. When you support this prophetic work, you're not helping a person. You're helping this word reach someone who's about to give up. Your seed isn't about helping us. It's about helping God reach them. God says those who refresh others will be refreshed. Your giving becomes the river someone else drinks from. Like Elijah's widow, your oil won't run dry when you release it with trust. The vault opens wider when you help send this message forward. This is not just generosity, it's prophecy. It's partnership. It's power. Give through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description. You are not watching by accident. You are chosen to act. Now move. Give boldly. Multiply what blessed you. In Jesus' name.